You're listening to the Collected Podcast, bringing you stories that remind us who God is and who we are in Him. The Collected Podcast is a production of Collected Ministries, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping disciples of Jesus discover and live from their true identity in Christ, recognize and walk in their divine purpose within the kingdom of God, and experience growth in their capacity for mature, healthy relationships. Follow Collected on social media at Collected Ministries, and be sure to visit thecollectedpodcast.com for show notes and additional content related to today's episode.
Welcome to this bonus episode of the Collected Podcast. I'm your host, Jess Biondo, and this week I have a very, very special guest. Our founder, my dear, dear friend, my mentor.
My goodness.
She doesn't know it, but she's mentored me a lot in the past. Tia McNelly. Tia, welcome back to your home.
Oh, thank
you. To the
you.
Collected Podcast.
It feels good to be next to you and behind the mic again, finally.
I know.
And also weird when you haven't done this in, 7 months, I think, since I've actually recorded. It makes you nervous again. I actually feel a few butterflies.
Yes. Well, you will do great, like riding a bike.
That's right.
But I fell off my bike quite a few times last summer.
Oh dear.
So
hopefully we'll
do better than that. But I want to start today by picking up where we left off the last time you were on. You were headed into a sabbatical, and I was just wondering if you could share with our listeners how that went. What was that like for you? Mm-hmm. What did God show you? What were the struggles in that? Mm-hmm. Kind of anywhere you want to go with it. The microphone is yours.
Oh, well, here, I'm going to move it a little closer then. Let's see. So let's rewind to October of 2020. Mm-hmm. And if you guys remember, if you've been listening for a while, my mom had a stem cell transplant and was in the hospital for a month. And then my sister and I split her full-time care for a full month. And so the lead up to that with her in chemo and then the follow-up even after the full-time care ended was super intense. And in the midst of that, very private stuff I certainly can't share on the podcastosphere. Is that a thing? Do we call that in podcast land? Whatever.
I like it.
There was a lot going on in my extended family that was incredibly complicated and stressful. And I burned out. Like I hardcore burned out. And I think people really can identify with that right now. Yeah. I actually saw somebody post, I don't think we realize, like all of us collectively as humanity, how burned out we all are. Mm-hmm. I think that's evidenced by people just kind of like throwing their hands in the air about certain aspects of life right now. And I get it. And so I think it was pretty much the beginning of 2021, you and I started talking about me kind of needing to step back a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of, as I prayed through and talked with my husband, Joel, about it, I decided to take a 6-month sabbatical, which is a huge break. Like that's a massive rest. And you and I went on a little retreat. We had a nice weekend away with its little hiccups.
Yes.
Remember that? Our Airbnb was not what we expected whatsoever.
It's not very safe. We did not stay there.
We did not. But we still had a great time of prayer and seeking the Lord and preparation for what was ahead. And we kind of left that time right before my sabbatical. It was literally like the week before, I think, in February, planning to do a little brand refresh and praying about over those 6 months, like what the Lord might have in store for Collected, since 2020 kind of shut events down. So like the workshops and seminars we used to do, all speaking engagements were kind of shut down. One good thing that came out of it for us was these Zoom podcast recordings. Mm-hmm. This cut our cost and added video.
Yeah.
So we had some good pivots and some tough pivots, but in the end, I think it kind of shook up who we understood Collected to be as an organization. We had gotten our 501c3 in the middle of 2020. So 2021 was sort of entering into the unknown. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting what has come back to me. I don't know if you remember that vision I had about, it was like a planet with a big fence and there was a small opening at the bottom of this chain link fence. And it was like a bare planet and a beautiful, colorful sky. And the woman in front, who I understood to be me, was leading another understood to be younger woman behind her. And I had a backpack on. And in order to get under this little opening in the fence to go out into the great beyond, this unknown, beautiful, new, mysterious place, I had to take the backpack off. And I heard the Lord say, if you want to go beyond, you're going to have to leave some things behind. I had no idea what that meant at the time. I think that it's clear that meant a lot of things, because the Lord definitely wanted to make some adjustments with me, just in my understanding of my own identity. Shockingly, spending 5 years on identity and then realizing that you're not so sure in your own that's a whack in the face, right? So then, I prayed through that vision some more in the beginning of my sabbatical. But what I noticed, and I'll get back to the vision, what I noticed early on was it was very difficult for me to slow my mind down, to get out of that like spinning habit that I think we've all spent a lot of time in the last couple of years. I had to be so intentional about choosing to literally plan and do nothing for a solid week. Or I don't think I ever would have stopped. And truth be told, all of sabbatical was not restful, quiet reflection. In fact, I feel like I stayed pretty dry in my spiritual time for a lot of it, which was disappointing, because that was my biggest goal, was to feel connected with Jesus again. And I do feel like finally now that's like now I feel like I'm back kind of like on the path I'm supposed to be on. Not that I was ever off, but now that I know where I'm going, that feels a little better. But so going back to that first week of sabbatical, I remember my daughter Sarah and I, she's 15, went and bought, it was March, so we went and bought a bunch of bulbs. And we were planting bulbs in the yard, and it felt so poignant that we had these dormant seeds that were so packed with potential beauty and growth, and they could stay as they were for a really long time. Like a bulb is just a dormant seed. Yeah, I guess that's my understanding of it anyway. Sure. But so the Lord kind of kept highlighting this concept of a dormant season. And I feel like that's where I had been and continued to be throughout sabbatical. Well, I guess it was about a month in. So this would have been April. My best friend Krista came over for us to just kind of catch up and hang out, just friend time. And as I was sharing with her my process and trying to just explain where I was without really knowing where I was, processing out loud a little bit with her, she said, I just feel like I'm finally allowed to tell you what I've been thinking for about a year and a half. And I was like, okay, I don't like that my best friend hasn't said to me the thing that she knows she's supposed to say for a year and a half, but it wasn't time. And she said, I have felt for a long time like you are supposed to have a more significant role in Kenya. She didn't say specifically with her organization, Flourish Kenya, but she said, I feel like it's time for you to go back to Kenya. Like, meaning be working for an organization, doing that in Kenya again. And I immediately was like, no, nope, no. Like, completely rejected the idea at first. We continued talking. I mean, this entire 6-month span, well, I guess it was 5 months because it was about a month into sabbatical, was very prayerful, seeking wise counsel, discussion around what that meant and what that would look like. And we decided that since my oldest daughter, let me back up one second. Part of why I decided to take a sabbatical was because it was such a significant period of time for my family, with my oldest daughter graduating high school and leaving for college. I wanted to be present for that. I wanted to not have any distractions, nothing keeping me from completely absorbing every last. I'm already teary again. Thinking about it. You don't realize how fast it goes.
Yeah.
Mamas, it's true. Every word that the other mamas tell you about how time flies, it does. And I just had that feeling of like time is running out and I don't want to miss anything. So that was amazing. We had a beautiful graduation. She gave a speech. We had a party at the house. We went to Colorado for a week as a family, which was incredible. And then she went away to Young Life Camp as a work crew volunteer. And so Krista and I had discussed me coming back to Kenya with her sometime this year. And I said, well, since Maya's going to be gone for a month and I won't miss any time with her, I can go within that month. I'll go with you. And so then she started working on me a little bit harder and talking about, well, what would you think if you were in this role? Or how would you feel if you worked for that organization? Or what if you did this for Flourish Kenya? And in the end, even before I left for Kenya, I had decided not to decide anything until sabbatical was over. I felt like the Lord wanted me to wait. And I felt severe decision constipation. Like I couldn't get a decision to come out of me about a lot of things, actually, which isn't like me. I'm a quick decision maker, action oriented. Let's go and make the thing happen. Yeah. Once I know what I'm supposed to do, I do it. And I didn't feel like I knew what I was supposed to do. So you and I had talked and had an accidental text thread. I accidentally texted Jess that I wasn't sure I was going to be coming back onto the podcast. I had known that part up front.
She thought she was texting that to Krista, and I got that. But we had kind of talked about it before.
Yeah.
But I was like,
that's one way to fill you in.
That was supposed to go to me for one reason or another.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But I love our friendship and that was like completely fine.
Yes.
That was all fine.
Absolutely.
And so from there, Krista and I started talking a little bit more about the realities of working for Flourish. And I'm a founding board member, so I've been there from the beginning. I know exactly the state of things and the struggles that she's been through as the sole staff person on the U.S. side. And what I realized was that I could count the cost this time. As a 20-something, the first time I dove headfirst into work in Kenya, I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know the struggles and the emotional processing that would have to take place in order to really lean fully into that at that time. And this time I know. I know what this looks like. And I wasn't sure I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And it was a very, once we finally got through the process, it was a very obedient yes. It was not a passionate yes, which sometimes, guys, that's what it looks like. Sometimes when we give our yes to God, it's out of obedience. And I thank him daily that he has allowed the passion to return, because you can't do this work without it. And, he had placed me into a dormant season with my work in Kenya for a very significant purpose. And that was, several. One, because I needed a break. I needed a rest. And two, I needed to learn all of the things that we've been through, all of the content of our workshops, everything we've talked about on this podcast, all of the people we've encountered. Like he needed to grow me with all of that, And, I thought that I was like this source of content and wisdom, but really he was pouring that into me through all of the incredible people we've encountered and all of the opportunities that we've had. And I learned a lot in this time about leaning into the Holy Spirit and listening. That sort of encouraging prophetic practice with people where you hear from the Lord about who someone is and how God sees them, and you can encourage them with that kind of thing. We've learned a ton.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even touch the surface of what we've taken in over the last 5 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Since really the genesis of all of it. But so when I finally gave my yes, this was after I got back from Kenya, and you and I met, and thankfully you were on the same page. And we'll get to where Collected lands with all of this in a minute. I realized that the backpack was Collected, that I was going to have to set Collected down in order to step fully into where God was taking me next, which sucks. Like that's a point of grief, like you spend all of your energy and time and spiritual energy in particular in building something, and to say, okay, I'm gonna let that go. And I'm gonna let go of control of where it's heading. I'm going to trust the person who stood by me the entire time to do what only she can do with it, which is, I encourage you guys to have a Jess in your life, someone who is solidly there to speak truth to you, to hold you accountable, to be your cheerleader, to remind you who you are. I didn't expect to cry so much.
Aww.
I'm sorry.
So Tia just means find yourself an Enneagram 2.
Yeah, basically. Get yourself a 2, guys.
A healthy 2.
A healthy 2, please. Yes. But at any rate, the bottom line is what sabbatical resulted in is not at all what I anticipated. And that's where saying yes to that was kind of the theme of Collected from the very beginning. When you give God your yes, you give it to him unconditionally, having no idea where he may be taking you. Yeah. And that's what happened with sabbatical. That's what happened with Flourish. That's what happened with Collected.
Yeah.
And so now we have legally, officially, 100% handed the entity of Collected Ministries, Inc. off to Jess.
Yes.
She is now the president and executive director. And I could not be more thrilled. And I believe that the organization is in capable hands. And I'm so honored that I get to maintain a seat on the board, that I get to have this front row view of you, like I said, doing what only you can do with this, because now it's your turn. And let me tell you guys something. From the very beginning of this, the very, very, very beginning of even considering any kind of online presence, putting content out into the world, Jess was part of it. It was with you or not at all. And so I feel so grateful that even as the baton is being passed, that I still get to be with you in it. And I'm excited to watch you fly.
Thank you.
It's going to be beautiful.
And that means so much to me. And you are never fully released. You will always be involved in some way.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you've started recruiting some other board members, and your mom is taking...
My mom is going to be president of the board.
Which is amazing.
And if you haven't listened to episode 100 with her, you will definitely want to do that. She's absolutely the sweetest.
Oh, yes. Yes. I love her dearly. And I believe that the Lord has something huge for her in it too. Yep.
Yeah.
So you guys definitely stay tuned. But I mean, do you want to share kind of where you are with where things are headed?
Yeah. Well, one thought I had too while you were talking, I think it was episode 2 of the podcast, like way in the beginning, the guest we had on talked about the concept of Hanani. This like giving God your yes. It's a Hebrew word that's like yes for whatever. Like yes without knowing what you're saying yes to.
Yep.
And I just think it's so good of the Lord to like start us there and bring us back there as we move to a new season. And it's like, everything he taught us along the way, none of it is wasted.
No.
And, when we started the podcast, the purpose was to promote workshops.
Right.
Which don't exist in Collected at this point
Isn't
anymore.
it funny?
Yeah. So maybe those will come back one day. I don't have any scheduled or, planned at the moment, nor do I intend to in 2021.
Right.
Or 2022, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That could change.
Already had to be working on that.
Yeah, that's not something in our near future. But, we started the podcast to promote the workshops. And the purpose of the workshop was to share this message that we felt like God had laid on our hearts. And like you were saying, to put out content.
Right.
But God sneakily reversed it on us, like you were saying, to give us and our listeners this incredible content every week from these voices that we would have never had access to. Like I wouldn't have been able to just call up Chip Ingram and ask him like, hey, so I'm struggling with this.
Yeah.
And yet that's what we could do on our show. And, I'm just blown away by how good he's been.
Yes.
And I know he'll continue to be good.
Absolutely.
And for both of us separately and together. And for our listeners out there, like, I know there's a lot of transition happening in all of our lives. Mm-hmm. And God is good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he is faithful and he has not forgotten you and he sees the struggle you're in. And he's there with you in it. Mm-hmm. And he may not get you out of it in the way or as quickly as you desire, but he never leaves you through it.
Yeah. That's good. And nothing is wasted. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that a second ago. And that's actually one of the huge themes from sabbatical. Nothing is wasted. If you feel like you're in a detour, like if you've kind of like gone off track or taken a sharp turn and you don't know where you are, where you're headed anymore, or how you'll ever get back to where you feel like you're supposed to be. One, he's with you. And two, when you do find your way back to where you feel like you're supposed to be, you were never where you weren't supposed to be. He has you exactly where he wants you. Nothing is wasted. When I think about the skills that I picked up, just one, podcasting, two, building websites, making social media content, honing my writing craft, speaking, all of these things that he allowed me to learn about over the last 5 years are absolutely necessary for leading a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Like, gonna need all of that.
Yeah.
And so nothing in that was wasted, even though it doesn't necessarily make sense. I mean, starting my education as a theater major, then to interior design, then to nursing. Like, what does any of that have to do with anything? only to have an unplanned pregnancy. Like, it all comes together. Mm-hmm. The Lord weaves these experiences of our lives together for a purpose. Nothing is wasted. Yeah. So I think somebody needs to know, wherever you are right now, this is not going to be wasted.
Amen. And Tia, you always have a home on this podcast.
Thanks.
So whenever you want to pop in.
Thank you.
Do an intro or an outro or even an interview.
Thank you. Well, I would love to keep everybody updated on Flourish Kenya.
Yeah.
We kind of started at the same time. And I would love to have you guys pop over to Flourish Kenya on social media. Check out the website. See what we're doing. And if anybody ever wants to go on an adventure to Kenya, that's possible. So let me know.
And for the person who's asking right now, what is Flourish Kenya?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So Flourish Kenya exists to prevent and support unplanned adolescent pregnancy in rural Kenya. Mm-hmm. And we do that through education programs. We do sexual and reproductive health education. We have a vulnerable child sponsorship program that helps keep teens in high school. Mm-hmm. If you keep a kid in school, it keeps them from getting pregnant. It actually reduces their chances of getting pregnant by 80%. So it's a huge deal. And we're also in the process of raising funds for a safe house where girls can come and be nurtured and have access to the resources that they need if they are facing a crisis pregnancy or early marriage. So there's a lot to learn about it. If you're interested, let me know. But yeah, I appreciate all the support that Collected has always given Flourish, and it's fun to have the two almost marry even more significantly through this. So,
we will remain partners.
Yes.
And where can people find you? Because you no longer have a Collected email address.
Oh, true. So you can email me at tia@flourishkenya.org. Or hello@tiamcnelly.com. I'm still there. I might do something with all of that at some point. I did change my handle on Instagram to @Tia McNelly. So I'm there, and it's more mixed content on Instagram these days between family and my thoughts.
Yeah.
So would love to hear from you guys over there as well. And you can always reach me through Jess.
Yes, that's true. I'll forward anything over to Tia.
Yep.
Well, that is what we have for you today in this bonus episode. Any final closing thoughts?
I want to thank every listener who has ever listened to this show, because it doesn't matter how many downloads we see, whether it's a really high week or a low week, we've always considered the one. And we've always reminded ourselves that no matter who's listening, God intended for someone to hear whatever it is being said. Yeah. And we do this out of obedience. And if you're listening, you matter to us, and we thank you. I would ask that if you are a regular listener, like this is my going out with a bang. Yeah. If you are a regular listener to the Collected podcast, but you're not a monthly donor to Collected Ministries, now would be a really great time to come alongside Jess as she ventures out on her own and takes this huge thing on to just throw her a bone, give her some encouragement. Sign up at collectedministries.org. Even if it's $5 a month, it would mean the world to me and to Jess. So
it really would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my final word.
Thank you. Thank you. And that'll keep our show ad-free.
Yes. And thank you for everything you have always done. I love you.
Thank you. We're hugging now if you're not watching the video. So we are going to leave you now. We will be back next week because this was our bonus for In Between Thursday. So we'll be back next week with a wonderful guest. You'll have to stay tuned to see who that is.
Good.
Have a great week.
Bye, guys. Thanks for everything.
Thank you for listening to the Collected podcast. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. And if you like what you've heard, we'd love it if you'd help spread the word. Check back here for new episodes dropping every other Thursday. You can follow along on social media at Collected Ministries. You can also find Jess at JessBeyondo. If you would like to support Collected by making a tax-deductible contribution, please visit collectedministries.org/donate. Collected proudly supports and partners with Flourish Kenya, a nonprofit working to support and prevent unplanned adolescent pregnancy in rural Kenya. Learn more at flourishkenya.org. The Collected podcast is produced by Jess Biondo and edited by Jacob Early. Music is by Asaf Elan.